Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. So I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the podcast of Tim Poole and Kanye West, now known as Ye, and how Kanye West, Ye, walked off the interview abruptly just walked off. I'm pretty sure you've all seen that or you've heard of it. And there's been many different YouTubers who have given their comments on it. But I wanted to chime in on this because I had already done a video or two on my opinion of Kanye West's accusation of the Jews controlling everything. And so in this video, I wanted to elaborate on that. There are some things I agree with Ye, and there are some things I don't agree with. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you guys the transcript from Breitbart News of the interview, at least to some extent. They have a transcript of some of it. I'm going to let you guys listen in on some audio clips as well, and then I'm going to give you my detailed opinion on what I believe he's right on and what I believe he's not right on. So let's get right into this. Because this, you could say that this is just all show and form, but it could be, we all know that Kanye West, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to continue to call him Kanye West. That's the way I want to do it. We all know that he's a controversial figure from the beginning. He's always been a controversial figure. So quite naturally, he's going to say things that are not going to always be in line with what everybody agrees with and what everybody accepts. So it is what it is. But let's get right into this. So the article starts off with Kanye West, the rapper and entrepreneur who has become infamous for his anti-Semitic views, walked out of an interview Monday evening with podcaster Tim Poole the moment the host mildly challenged his views on Jews. Now, look, I don't know if some of this article seems to come off as opinionated. So if so, that's their opinion on this. I'm going to give my opinion. So let's get right into this. And I'm going to let you guys listen in on a audio clip of apparently Kanye West walking off, right? And I saw the actual video, and it's interesting. It's like, that's not the first time Kanye West has walked off of an interview because he didn't agree with what the host was saying. It's not the first time. So let's listen in on this.
Been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they, though? We can't say they is, can we?
Press. I'm not using.
Oh, 1 second.
That's the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not? What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then
Have
think
the
we're not
discussion.
not gonna have a conversation.
have the discussion.
Like you think he's gonna come in here and say, "Here's my pain, here's my suffering." I'm gonna say, "I hear you," and then he's gonna say, "And it was Jewish people," and I'm gonna be like, "Okay, but don't you consider?" So I'm not gonna do this. I refuse.
Okay, now, look, man, I'm going to be real with you up front. Everybody and every individual is allowed to express their views and their opinion on a podcast, on a YouTube video, whatever. People are allowed to express their opinions. I have no problem with that. I express my opinions on my YouTube channel. Everybody has the right to express their opinions. But I understand what Tim Poole is saying. If you get on the show and you make these accusations, sweeping accusations, and the host not challenge you, then what are you thinking? The podcast could be looked at as, okay, or rather I say it like this. It seems to indicate to me, before I go any further into this article, it seems to indicate to me that Kanye West is thinking that this podcast that he's being interviewed on is a way to him just to dump it, to just express himself. He's hurt. He's angry with what with what he believes to be the Jews, and I'm going to get into the further concepts of that. are doing to him, and he has to find some way to express his hurt, and everybody has to accept, or rather the host and the people on that show has to accept the fact that, look, this is what they're doing to me, and I got to express myself, and I don't care what you guys think about it. This is what I think. Okay, it seems to indicate to me, based on what I've observed so far in the video, is that that's the mindset that Kanye West has. But you can't expect for Tim Poole or others not to chime in and give their opinion on that. It's not a place where you can just, a podcast, from what I understand, it's not a place where you can just rant and say whatever you want to say, and your host or other people that's on that show don't have a right to express their opinions about what you just said. So that's what it seems like I'm getting from Kanye West when he walked off. Okay. And that right there, I don't agree with. That's that, but I'm giving my opinion. Okay. I don't agree with that. I think he should have said it out. Because when you make that statement, what do you expect? So let's go on. Let's go further. Now here's a tweet from Greg Price. Says Ye got up and left the Timcast studio less than 10 minutes into the show when Tim pushed back on the claims he made that Jewish people control the world and are responsible for harming him. And that seems to be a generalization, but I'm going to get into that. The interview, which was streamed live on YouTube, included Holocaust denier Nick Fontes. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Y'all know I tend to butcher these names. And Milo. I'm not going to pronounce the last name. And Milo, some of you probably are familiar with these individuals. These individuals are considered to be controversial individuals, but I'm not going to get into that. Who had recently joined West's entourage on 2024 and 2024 presidential campaign. Poole allowed West to express his views largely uninterrupted for the first 15 minutes of the broadcast. He claimed that his recent controversial dinner with former President Donald Trump had been scheduled last month, apparently before West began making anti-Semitic comments such as the infamous DEFCON tweet. The dinner was postponed until after the midterm elections. West confirmed that Trump did not know Fontes. West claimed that it was, quote, beautiful that people could see how Jews, whom he referred to as Zionists at one stage, counsel people. And I'm going to get on this Zionist thing here in a minute. Tim Poole then interrupted. You went right into the anti-Semitic thing. If you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you. West replied, I don't care about your opinion. See, this is what the problem is. I don't care about your opinion. Well, everybody has a right to express their opinion. You come on his podcast, like anybody else's podcast, and you give your opinion. They have a right to disagree with your opinion. They have a right to challenge it. Anyway, he then claimed that, quote, Jewish people allowed then Senator Barack Obama to meet with the racist and anti-Semitic Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan in 2005. Poole expressed empathy for West's experience of being canceled. I think they've been extremely unfair to you. Who is they, though? West replied. We can't say who they is, can we? Corporate press, Poole replied. Fontes interjected, it is them, though, isn't it? Poole replied, no, it's not. What do you mean it's not? West asked. He then stood up and left the room. His entourage followed. A Twitter account allied to West claimed that Poole did not allow West to express himself. Now that right there, like I said, I didn't get a chance to listen to the entire podcast, but it seems evident right there, you know, I mean, was it really him expressing himself? Maybe so. You know, or not being allowed to express himself? Maybe so. But that's not what I'm going to get at. Well, I'm going to talk about something different. Luke Wadrinsky, one of Poole's co-hosts, said that West said he was leaving, quote, you don't believe in my truths. And I wanted to let you guys listen in on one of the, I want you to listen in on the audio of this particular podcast host here, and he said these words himself, which were quite interesting. He says, "Hold on one second here. Let's see."
Outside, they're in the car, and I'm like, let's let the best idea win. Let's have this conversation. And essentially, he said, you don't believe in my truths. Like, this is my truth. You guys are denying it, and I don't want to.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward and short, but just want you guys to hear for yourself, all right? And then the article goes on to say, Poole reflected on West's decision to leave. "I'm sorry, bro," he said. "This is not a show where you come in and talk by yourself and say things that warrant questioning at the very least. All they did was remove themselves from the conversation." That's the end of that article there. But like I said, this is a lot of controversies being spewed about this. Sometimes you can't help but wonder, is this, or I'm going to put myself in that predicament. I can't help but wonder if this is just a smokescreen. A smokescreen to keep our eyes on something else other than what the government officials are doing. While we're sitting up here talking about Kanye West or Ye, whichever one you want to call it, while we're doing all of this, the government officials, both Republican and Democrat, who are part of the elite, who are part of the swamp, are making decisions that's going to utterly destroy this country and merge us with the one world government. But that's another story, and I digress. What I wanted to get at just briefly is what this whole thing is all about. Now, the way I see it, based on my studies and reading. Now, as I said before, everybody has a right to their own opinion. Everybody has a right to, say what they want to say, but when it comes down to giving an opinion, when you have that kind of influence on people's perceptions, like Kanye West does, you have to make sure that your opinions have a basis in fact. Now, the last video I did on him, I criticized his generalization of Jews. Okay, when he said, "I'm calling out all Jews," for taking over the corporations and all this, there he's totally wrong. All Jews have nothing to do with this. Okay, when you demonize a particular group of people based on another particular group of people, that's wrong. That's like saying all black people like to listen to hip hop music. All black people do not like to listen to hip hop music, and I'm one of them. Hip hop, and I'm one of them. I never was into hip hop music then. I'm not into hip hop music now. Certainly, I'm not into it now. And in fact, I hate it now. I cannot stand the modern day hip hop music. I hate it. It makes my stomach hurt. Okay. That's like category, and that's what unfortunately, blacks get oftentimes categorized that way. Because I'm black, I get this on my job sometimes and they don't mean no harm, but from white supervisors and white coworkers, they come around me and they try to act, all cool and all this and talk a certain way because they figure, oh, as a black man, as a black person, particularly as a black male, this is how I like to talk and carry myself. But that's not true. That's not how I like to talk. That's not how I like to carry myself. My interests are not what that group of black people's interests are. I'm a horror fan. I'm a writer. I'm a teacher. Okay. I'm a conservative. I'm all the things that black people are not supposed to be, right? So when I see a white person do that and act that way towards me, although they don't mean no harm by it, to me it's offensive because you categorizing me and put me in the same group, and I'm not in that group. I'm not a thug, and I don't talk that way. I don't walk that walk. I don't talk that walk. Talk that talk. The same principle here. When he categorized all Jews, that's wrong. And now on this show here, on this podcast, what I will point out is this: in the podcast, Kanye West did make the statement about the Zionists. Okay, now that's what he should have said to begin with. He should have separated the Zionists from the rest of the Jews. Now, let me explain this. It goes like this. There's four aspects of the general consensus of Jews, if you want to put it that way, for lack of a better word. You have Jews. Goes like this: Jews or Jewish, or I just say Jews. Hebrew, or I'm not say Jews, Judaism, Hebrew, Zionism. When you say Jews, you're referring to the biological makeup of a group of people. Biologically, they're Jews, okay? That's the biological makeup. Just like you say, this is the biological makeup of Anglo-Saxons. This is the biological makeup of African Americans or Black Americans. This is the biological makeup of Asians. You're talking about a biological makeup when you say Jews, okay? Judaism is the religion of the Jews, which is based on the Old Testament Torah, okay? Hebrew is the language in which they speak, which is a Semitic language based in the Middle East. It's akin to the Arab language, and the Arab language and dialect is similar to the Hebrew language and dialect, thus calling them Semitic languages, okay? And then the Zionists. The Zionist is a political movement. And without going into much details here, it's a political movement, and many Jews, okay, do not support Zionism. The Zionist Jews reject, for the most part, the religion of Judaism, and they embrace, in many aspects and instances, they embrace, the Zionists do, the Zionist Jews embrace Kabbalism, or the Kabbalah, which is a group of mystical writings based on the occult. They reject Judaism. Okay, they reject the religion of the Jews, which is very important to them. Okay, so that's what that's all about. What he should have done was distinguish that group from the rest of the Jews. As I said, many of the Jews in modern times do not support Zionism, and they make efforts to oppose them to their own detriment. And now let me explain something real quick too before I end this video. When Kanye West made the statement that the Jews or the Zionists or the Jews per se own and control a lot of stuff, the reason for that isn't because some outside source made it that way. It isn't because someone is externally promoting the Jews into positions of authority and control. It is because of what something that Thomas Sowell always says in his books. It is because of culture. By culture, I mean those things that is embraced by their particular culture. The Jewish culture then and now embrace education, commerce, and technology. They embrace the aspects of education, and they always have and always will. Every country that the Jews go to, they prosper. They prosper in commerce, technology, and other areas such as law and so forth. They prosper because they embrace those particular aspects of society. They dig into them areas. They study and they research more so than other cultures do. And that's why everywhere they go, they prosper. They take that cultural value with them everywhere they go. And that's why they prosper. That's why they have more advances in technology. That's why they tend to be in business everywhere they go. That's how that goes, okay? It's not because somebody externally put them in their position. Their culture embraces education. Their culture embraces technology. Their culture embraces commerce and business. And because of that emphasis, they prosper everywhere they go. It isn't because they're crooked and they're mean. I'm not trying to. I don't want this video to get deleted or taken down. But it's the Zionists, if you want to put it that way, the political movement that is pushing this. Oh man, I'm not gonna give you too much because this will get deleted. But based on, let me just put it to you like this: based on the research of Jim Marrs, the late Jim Marrs, who was a journalist, he wrote a book back in 2017 called "The Illuminati," and how the Illuminati had taken over the secret society that has hijacked the world. And he wrote a section on Zionism, and it's a powerful, highly researched section. I highly advise people buy the book. Okay. And he really explained it in a way that I never thought about before, except to say this. They are the ones, the Zionists are the ones that are actually pushing against the regular Jews. But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. You figure it out from there. You figure it out from there. But it isn't what people think. And for Kanye West to get on that show and express his opinions, he has the right to do that, like he has in any show. But you can't expect Tim Poole and the others to not challenge your assertions. And when you assert that all Jews are in the same category, that's wrong. I disagreed with it in my last video, and I disagree with it now. Okay, so I just wanted to say that that's my spin on this whole debacle with the Tim Poole and Kanye West, or Ye, whichever one you want to call him, situation. That's my spin on it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again.